Oh man, I got another amazing video for y'all. We have a special guest here with us today. You know what I'm saying? Nobody other than my brother from another mother, Be there.
Peace, brother. How you doing?
Pretty good.
My brother, brought me back on the channel. We're going to be dropping some knowledge. You know what I'm saying? We're going to give y'all the real edification that y'all need. We're going to throw in some jokes. We're going to make it fun. We're going to make it educational. And we also going to make it, to where everybody's able to understand the information intuitively. You can follow me at BDell1014 on YouTube, on Instagram, BDELL1014.
Word. All right, y'all. So y'all already know, man, how we do. We're going to get straight to it.
Right.
Enjoy yourself. Just make sure we're not trying to convince y'all anything. Make sure y'all going out here doing y'all own damn research. You're responsible in what you believe, but hopefully today you receive something that you need. Bars, nigga. But look, let's get to it.
News that's either going to make your day or potentially ruin your day, depending on your belief system.
Talking of pyramids, dude, this new pyramid shit that's just come out.
Oh, this is insane. Yeah, I was going to send this to you as well, Jamie. I'll send you one of the most comprehensive breakdowns of it on X because it's quite stunning. So apparently, through the use of LiDAR, they have discovered that there are enormous structures underneath the Great Pyramid that go kilometers deep into the earth with coils. So enormous pillars, and then these coils. They don't understand what it is because they're just looking at LiDAR images. But whatever this is a uniform structure. There's several pillars, and all of this is like very, very, very weird.
Yeah, 600 meters descending down those cylinders, and then there's more stuff below it, and then there's additional structures inside of it. Yeah, that was crazy.
It's really crazy. There's a guy, Jay Anderson, and he did a breakdown of it. Maybe this would be good. We could play this. It makes a little more sense when someone's explaining it to you.
Well, yeah, I mean, we need somebody that's an expert here, not me and you.
Zawi Hawass, by the way, has said it's nonsense. So I don't know.
Already?
Yes. According to Graham Hancock. This is the wonderful thing about having Graham
I texted
Hancock's
Graham yesterday. I was like, yeah, what's going on with this?
Yeah, so click on that and go full screen, please.
How significant of a discovery this is.
Dun, dun, dun. I love the music. And geometry, so you know it's real.
You got to appreciate the dramatic intro.
Project Unity.
What has just been announced in relation to the pyramids at the Giza Plateau and the plateau itself is so incredible, so awe-inspiring and narrative-shattering that I have been sitting here for the last hour trying to wrap my head around the implications of what we were just told. So this is pretty much breaking news because the new findings were announced on the 16th of March at a press conference held by the team who are studying the Great Pyramid of Giza with a non-invasive technology that was first developed by Filippo Bionde and Corrado Malanga, called synthetic aperture radar Doppler tomography.
Fuck, that's a
This
mouthful.
was used to explore the internal
Chiropractic
structure
talk.
of the Great Pyramid of Giza. And this method leverages the analysis of micro movements typically generated by background seismic activity to achieve a high resolution, full 3D tomographic imagery of the pyramid's interior and subsurface components. The recent findings from deploying this technology are nothing short of mind-blowing, because what's been discovered is that there are huge structures coming down from the base of the pyramid deep into the bedrock. In fact, over 600 meters deep, which then connects to structures that extend up to 2 kilometers below the surface of the ground. 2 kilometers. Massive internal structures connected to the base of the pyramid and extending deep, deep down. This is what we know so far.
What does your friend think about it?
Which friend?
The one that you said it's bullshit.
Oh, that's not my friend. That's Zawi Hawass.
Okay.
Zawi Hawass is the head of antiquities in Egypt. He's like the head guy that talks to the archaeologists and gives the official narrative. In the past, he's been extremely hostile to Graham Hancock, but Graham Hancock and him have now become friends.
Oh, yes. I
And
do
they're
know this guy.
Coordinating. Graham is a lovely guy. The people that like are enemies with him just need to get to know him and hang out with him.
When it comes to these these pyramids, bro, these pyramids are basically terrestrial power plants. It has the ability to extract ether from the magnetosphere, and then it also siphons energy from the black sun, which is basically the etheric network of the Ethereum cosmic mother. So if you look at like some of the sigilcism and Freemasonry, it shows you the concept of as above, so below. So when you pull in these dualistic energies that gives power to the sun and the moon, it is operating from a place of a of a fifth dimensional construct because it's pulling and siphoning energy from the galactic center that is in alignment with the star Polaris, which is also in alignment with the black sun at the same time. So a lot of people don't understand is that the pyramids are also is a neuroendocrine transducer that is also connected to who we are genetically. Because a pyramid, when you break down the etymology of the word, it means the fire in the middle. The fire in the middle is the energetic frequency of the soul that creates a tetrahedron. That tetrahedron is a triangulum effect of a hexa alpha symbol, and it shows you like a triangle on top and a triangle on the bottom. So that's basically unifying the higher self and the lower self to activate the fire in the middle, which is Solomon's temple. Solomon's temple means the soul of man. So all that basically correlates with Christ consciousness. So then they talking about they found the Ark of the Covenant. So all this is corresponding with genetics, bro. That's all they really talking about. The same thing they do with the Bible, right? Everything they talk about in the Bible is, a lot of people look at it from an external point of view, but they really talking about the internal aspects of it as far as like genetic upgrades and Christ is actually Christ consciousness when you get into the esoteric aspects of it. That's what it's really talking about. But a lot of people, they just look at it from a three-dimensional standpoint. So a lot of times they're gonna get caught up into like the distractions and the technology of it. But there is monolithic structures at the bottom of the pyramid that lead to hollow earth, because a lot of people don't understand why Osiris in ancient Kemet he was green. The reason he was green is because when you go through the Adept chambers that leads to hollow earth, that's when you have to cultivate this energy to become a master. Once you become a master, that's when the frequencies at the bottom of the pyramids is called the holy frequency. It operates at 111 frequency hertz, and that basically restores the DNA, the mitochondrial DNA, by cell growth proliferation. So it was kind of like a revitalization hyperbolic chamber, like the same shit that Goku was in. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
And you got to understand about anime. Anime tells you the truth, and then it's basically in alignment with historical context and the stuff that they put out in westernized media. So that's what that's really talking about, because when your physiology turns green, that means that you have magnesium-based blood to where the hemoglobin cellular structure doesn't break down intrinsically because it's being repaired. And once it's repaired, that's when you get access to hollow earth, because you got your physiology has to have a certain G-force because they don't have any type of gravity inside hollow earth. You know what I'm saying? So everything is, they have an inner sun, but the inner sun is basically stagnant. It's stagnant, but it's also in a state of evolution. So you have to have a certain genetic format in order to get to the, go through the Adept chambers and then get to hollow earth.
And
So
they've been looking for the different blood types too as well.
bro,
One thing, if you pay attention to, is the mortal cell lines that they're looking for, right? And it's the reason why I don't want to say too much, but it's a reason why, and that's why it reminds you of what Henrietta lacks.
Yep.
Those cells, and why were they doing that? Look, I ain't gonna get into it. I ain't gonna be Kanye today, but
right.
If you know, you know.
Hey, my boy crashing out right now. Kanye is going crazy.
Yeah, if y'all haven't, look, me and B Dell was talking about the Kanye situation. We not reacting to it because that seemed like a setup.
Yeah, facts. Because everything that he was basically saying, I mean, you gotta watch it, but you gotta read between the lines. He's telling a lot of the truth, but it's coming from a emotional standpoint to the point he's crashing out. But you also you can't negate that Kanye is also 47. 47 is also associated with the pyramids of Giza when you're talking about the 47 problem of Euclid. That is basically Ptah or Horus and Osiris. That is the Pythagorean theorem that creates the man, woman, and child. That's why you got three different monolithic structures of the pyramids, because the pyramids is a representation of balance, by way of the man, woman, and child. So the 47th problem of Euclid is actually the number 11, and Kanye's a Gemini. So those are the dualistic energies of Jack and Rowlands. You know what I'm saying? So right brain, left brain, everything is associated with Freemasonry. So don't be surprised if he get unalive, because he was saying too much in that interview.
Yeah, look crazy. Hey, let's keep going though. I ain't gonna keep I don't want no problems with those folks.
Facts.
A 3D model of the entire complex, the examination of dozens of tomographical images obtained from different angles using Capella space and Umbra radars enabled a 3D reconstruction of most of the objects inside the pyramid of Khafre. Below, we present some images from our 3D analysis. The analysis of the structures above Belzoni's chamber are intensely coloured spots which can be observed appearing in all tomographic images taken from different angles corresponding to the internal artificial structures. On the next page, it says that improvements of the signal-to-noise ratio revealing the internal structure of the 5 Zs, consisting of 5 horizontal levels and a sloping roof. So this is the raw pictures of.
And you want to know what this reminds me of when I see these graphs, the scan of like what's below. If you look at the Schumann resonance and the energies and frequencies that's been coming in to this planet, this looks exactly like those energies coming in. So for me, that means that a lot of things are shifting into that energy that's coming into the planet, and these things are being, guess what, brought to the light. For sure.
The data that they used to create their model. And this is the model. So it reads the tomography with another cross-sectional line showing the presence of vertical structures. And if you think that was pretty mind-blowing, it then goes on to say, as observed in the 3D model below the ground level, so ground zero of the main structure, vertically aligned cylindrical structures extend for hundreds of meters beneath the Giza Plateau. Notably, 8 of these structures, arranged in 2 parallel rows from north to south, descend to a depth of 648 meters, merging into 2 large cubic structures measuring approximately 80 meters per side. These features are illustrated in the topographical images and models presented. The paper then adds to that with some even more interesting detail, which is that the 8 cylindrical structures that have been identified in the tomographical image appear as vertical wells which are hollow inside and surrounded by descending spiral pathways. It then goes on to describe the third step, which is a lot of the analysis they've done based on all this data that they've collected. So they say the next phase involved analysing the tomographic data to determine the full extent of the underground structures beneath the Giza Plateau. The tomographic images clearly reveal that the structures exist beneath the plateau, extending below the pyramids of Khafre, Khufu, and Menkaure, for approximately 2 kilometers below ground. So mind-blowing as all that is, there's still more to come, and this is just a little bit of the information that they have shared with us so far. So we can look forward to a lot more to come out fairly soon, and I will keep you posted. In the meantime, this is a look at some of the models and some of the data.
The objections that Geopop makes to our work that we showed in Bologna a few days ago in front of 900 people, and which went around the world in an instant. They are essentially laughable objections, that is, objections made by someone who is not well informed. They are objections of a person who has not read, or perhaps if he read, he did not understand the previous scientific work from 2022 that we had published in remote sensing. which used the exact same technology and had already been validated from science with the contribution of as many as 7 referees. I recall that Remote Sensing is a journal. It is the 4th most important journal in the world for scientific research with synthetic aperture radar. And basically, Geopop claims that we cannot look inside the pyramid because no one has ever looked inside because the radar system only has the ability to see the outside of the objects and not to penetrate inside. And this is true, or rather it was true until recently. That is until 2022. That is until Filippo Biondi discovered a methodology to transform the photonic signal into a phononic signal. And it's very simple. A small child would understand it. A small child would understand it if they had read the scientific work from 2022, already published, where everything is written, including the mathematics part. And the system that has been widely demonstrated. Why? Because before and after writing the work with
everything that's taking place right now is really the blueprint for eschatology. Eschatology is basically the science of the end times. So we're basically going through a prophetic divination. So all this stuff is when the pyramids are basically going to turn on, it's going to upgrade our genetics as well. It's kind of like the same shit. You ever seen the movie Supercell?
Yeah.
Hey, so when the pyramids turn on, potentially you can get those powers that you've been talking about. Because one thing you got to understand about pyramids, they have a kinetic energy that can basically manipulate the space-time continuum by way of an interface transition, meaning that it's basically like a glitch in the system that basically dematerializes the grid system. Because
I got a question.
Yeah.
I got a question for you, right? When you're in the middle of it now. All right, so look, check it out. Since we talk about superpowers and stuff, all right, are we gonna have to make it to the pyramid and go to the bottom of it? Because I heard it's a chamber down there that looks directly up, and the energy, all right, goes into your body. Is that what you think? Just a thought. Is that what you think can give people abilities, or is this energy just going to come live and it's going to shoot into the air and transform our grid and upgrade everybody? Like, how you think that would happen then?
Yeah, on the microcosmic aspect of it, yeah, that can be true as well. But when you understand, like, the essence of ancient, Egyptian mythology, the only way to reap the benefits of those energies is when you have the man and the woman together, because the man and the woman together represents the triangulum system of the pyramids, the dualistic forces of nature, the divine feminine and the divine masculine. So you got to be balanced in order to get those superpowers. Just like when you watch the last Matrix movie, in order for Neo to escape the Matrix, he needed the divine feminine. She's the one who pulled him out of the end. At the end of the movie, she's the one who pulled his ass out of the Matrix. So that means that your woman or your counterpart has to be conscious or socially aware about, the dynamics of, the world and stuff like that. That's the only way you're going to get the apex of your abilities once you reach your higher self. So you
because I'm asking, because you don't want niggas storming the pyramids. You know what I'm saying? Look, niggas getting look.
hey, it'd be the same shit. You ever seen the movie World War Z when they was trying to get over that wall? Everybody going to the pyramids trying to get DNA upgrades.
I'm telling you, look, exactly.
But they not telling everybody. Everything's internal. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though they showing you pyramids and all these monolithic structures at the bottom and stuff, talking about Ark of the Covenant, all that stuff that they basically talking about is already in you. So you just got to activate it.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean, look, when you start speaking about the Ark of the Covenant, like it's one thing we talked about offline too as well. I'm gonna bring it back up. It's like, all right, we're building something where we're actually gonna be boots on the ground, going to see some of these things. And the stuff that people speak about, you know me, bro. Look, if they talking about entities there and somebody getting eaten by monsters, they got guardians and stuff, I'm gonna let you know right now, I'm not gonna be the one to touch it. I'm not touching nothing.
Right. But
So I don't know how we gonna get through this, B-Dale, because I'm not touching it. I don't know. Is you gonna touch it first?
hey, I'll touch it. I'm Indiana Jones. And you know I'm in Indiana.
Hey, look. Hey, bro, I can run fast as hell. I'm not even gonna lie to you, bro. I'm fast, bro.
Hey,
Not kind of like, all right. Yeah, go ahead, touch it if you want to.
hey,
I'm gonna be able to tell the story. I'm gonna be out there, John.
hey, we got to, bro, because like you got to go against the grain. Like we want to know the secrets. It's time that we get on, like you said, boots on the ground. We got to do these excavations because that's when you're gonna be able to see, like, hey, because you never know. We might discover some shit that the National Geographic or anybody hasn't discovered. Because a lot of the stuff that's being discovered, there's a hidden agenda behind it. Because in order to unlock some of these portals or stargates, unlock the Ark of the Covenant, you have to have a certain genetic format. So a lot of people, as far as like the gatekeepers, they don't have the genetic format to unlock some of those things. So that's why they need us. You know what I'm saying? It's like the movie Lovecraft Country.
I was just about to say that.
Go ahead.
I promise you, I was just about to say that. That's why they needed him in order to use his energy to do what they was trying to do. Facts.
So the same thing translates in real time.
And it was a reason why there was only one season.
Bruh.
Like, look.
Amazing show.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. And look, we could talk a lot about that, but yeah, let's keep going. Let's keep going. This is crazy.
The way it's set up and laid out, if you look at the structure from beneath, and I've gone down the subterranean shaft, which goes down about 65 meters in one angle, another 30 meters straight down in another angle. It's beneath the bedrock. Now, even beneath that, you see these giant tubes that are dried out. They're aquifer tubes where the channel was there for the water to run from the Nile. When you take moving water under magnetized crystal granite, you create something called physiostatic electricity. Christopher Dunn, who is an engineer, he wrote several books about the Giza power plant. So now those ions flow up into the Grand Gallery. That I believe there used to be resonating rods going up the Grand Gallery. The slots are there, but the rods are missing now. And that probably would step up the power until it gets into the King's Chamber. And then from there, some type of fusion, I believe, would happen. Now, why do I say fusion? Well, there's a box inside the King's Chamber that's a rose granite box. And you can tell it was added at a later date. Now, this rose granite box.
That box I was talking about, somebody got some powers and dipped.
I swear. Hey, that's the chunk they took off and created Thor's hammer with.
Hey,
huge chunk of the corner is missing. So to me, something was energetic within that box, and so I started thinking about it. So I took precise measurements of the box. I checked out measurements that were online and available to me, and it's the same exact dimensions of the Ark of the Covenant. The Great Pyramid itself at Giza I
told you the pyramids were just the rooftops, and what lies beneath is the real secret. No, the real mystery is why they're suddenly telling us this. They're claiming a vast underground city exists beneath the pyramids, stretching kilometers under the Giza plateau. But here's the thing, nothing reaches the mainstream unless it's been greenlit. So ask yourself, why now? Because here's what they don't teach you. Advanced civilizations existed way before us. And I don't mean bow and arrows. I'm talking high-tech infrastructure, energy grids, and precision engineering. They've spent decades making sure that kind of info stays buried. Why? Because it breaks the illusion. Now, right when people are waking up, this discovery gets dropped. And remember how recently they were all in on UFOs and so-called alien sightings? It all ties together, building toward the next big reveal that ancient humans had help from something they'll call ancient visitors, that beings from the stars came down and handed us knowledge we couldn't have had on our own. But if you've been paying attention, you already know that's just the latest version of an old narrative. These so-called visitors, they've been described in every ancient culture, just under different names. Some called them spirits, others jinn, some fallen angels. Today, they're called greys, ETs, aliens. It's just the modern take on their deceptive branding. There was even a well-known occultist who made contact with one, called it Lamb. Looks just like your classic alien. And yeah, the place that contact happened, right inside the Great Pyramid. Coincidence? Probably not. Because this isn't just about history, it's about access. Access to knowledge we were never meant to have. Or at least not yet, so don't buy the shiny packaging. This isn't about aliens. It's about influence, control, and the long game. Because what's buried under the pyramids might not just rewrite history, it might expose the setup that's been waiting for you from the very beginning. I'm gonna go ahead and say this is just a joke for entertainment purposes. What if I told you the pyramid?
This is the secret technology hidden beneath the Pyramid of Khafre, and it was never meant to be found. In the 1990s, a team of archaeologists uncovered something extraordinary beneath the Pyramid of Khafre. 4 massive chambers, each containing a towering pillar made of an unknown metallic alloy. The pillars hummed with energy, as if they were ancient batteries. After weeks of research, the team discovered how to recharge the pillars. When activated, they emitted a low, resonant frequency that seemed to sync with the Earth itself. The hieroglyphs on the walls describe the pillars as part of a defense mechanism created by an advanced civilization long before recorded history. But as the team continued their work, strange things began to happen. Equipment malfunctioned, communication devices went silent, and some researchers claimed to hear whispers in a language no one could understand. One by one, the archaeologists vanished. The project was classified as top secret, and all records were buried. In 2023, a leaked document revealed the truth. The pillars weren't just batteries. They were part of a global defense system designed to protect Earth from an unknown threat. The final note from the lead researcher read, "We awakened something ancient, and now it's watching us."
See, that's when I say, hell nah. See, look, that's why stories like that, I hope it's not true. I know it's not true in my mind, because it's diabolical that these videos be capturing just one person can like just completely fuck it up for everybody. Now we all cursing something watching this because you want to touch shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You ever seen in a cartoon when you hit that big red button and the whole world blow up? That's the same shit archaeologists doing. Hey, because one thing, bro, like a lot of the stuff that they finding, bro, is really like sacred stuff, and you're not supposed to put your hands on it because it will basically manipulate the ecology of the planet, which will also destroy the ecosystem. So some of the shit they finding is weakening the magnetic field. So this is why they, doing all this stuff with climate change and talking about globalism and shit like that. Like all this is like according to their timeline. So that's why it tells you in the Bible, for those who follow religion, it tells you that the devil only has the 6,000 years reigns on the planet. And planet Saturn is a representation of the illusion, and Saturn is losing his rings. So when these pyramids turn on, eventually, it's really going to manipulate the atmosphere. It's going to manipulate the illusion because the Saturn's rings in the firmament, they both work in conjunction. That's what creates the illusion, because the moon and Saturn is the external hard drive of the planet Earth. So shit, if it takes me to hit that button to get this simulation, hit that reset button, I'll go in them pyramids and do it. I'll be the one to do it. Because like I said, we got to get to the hereafter. You know what I'm saying? It's that time that we in a 5th dimensional civilization, and we got to separate from certain individuals who is subjugating our energy. So this is why we talk about the chosen ones, bro. The chosen ones.
Hey, I know they talked about the chosen ones, but this man B-Dale said, he said, "I'm gonna go into the pyramid. I'm gonna crash out. I'm gonna touch it."
Hey, might as well. It's no time, bro.
Hey, look. Hey, I'm the other way. This nigga about to touch it.
Hey, you gotta crash out. Hey, I'm gonna crash out for the Anunnaki.
I hope I believe you. I hope it's gonna go the way that you planned it. But yeah,
yeah, you got
somebody got to live to tell the story. You know what I'm saying? Just in case.
Yeah. Hey, but like I said, man, we in a time period like that's why we got to get boots on the ground. Like you said, we got to start doing our own excavations, and because the creators are now they the new prophets. So we have to be resourceful enough to go out and be like, hey, we finna go to Mammoth Cave, Kentucky. That's one of the cave systems that lead to Hollow Earth. We got to go to these other places. We got to go hit the pyramids in Mexico, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? People want to see that. So we in that time.
Right. And then when we were talking about doing the whole Grand Canyon thing, remember when we were talking about, I don't want to say too much about the things that fly in the air that's been doing this. we was talking about that. See, I always get a yellow mark when I talk about that. They shadow ban me pretty much.
Oh, wow.
But shortly after that, that started happening a lot. You know what I'm saying? So that's why we couldn't really get to the stuff we want to get to. But we got other ways. We're not gonna speak on it here. How we're gonna be traveling, but we're gonna get there.
And
sure.
hey, you know they just had an earthquake at inside the Grand Canyon, right?
Oh, I know it was inside the Grand Canyon.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, supposedly it was like they said it was inside the Grand Canyon because
I'm right down the street. I ain't
oh
feel
my
nothing.
God! Hey,
I'm right here.
Hey, you right by sacred energy, though. So it's not a coincidence that you know what I'm saying that you be doing these videos. So you got a certain energy to you, you know what I'm saying? Because you over there by the Sedona vortex. Remember when Rashad Jamal he said you can get to the pyramids of Giza through the Grand Canyon, right? Because there's interstellar vortex portals inside the Grand Canyon, and you got pyramids inside the Grand Canyon that's tether connected to the ones in ancient Egypt that was also associated with the ones in ancient Atlantis. So every pyramid structure on the planet has a cave system. There's a cave system because during the after the first flood of Noah, you had many different other floods, and that's where some of other demographics of people they had to go inside the caves and get to Hollow Earth to escape the calamity. So how you know we're not supposed to be doing the same thing? How you know we're supposed to be digging underground? Hey, I ain't got
that's why they got bunkers. You see what the quote unquote elites are doing. Everybody got a bunker. Rick Ross got a bunker now. He was like, I see y'all, Elon Musk. I'm gonna got mine too. But do you think? All right, so my theory is it's just a theory with the bunkers. I feel like that they're not deep enough in those bunkers, and I feel like if the land started to crack open and stuff, and you got a bunker. Like, I don't think there's no good.
It's
they can easily smash. They can smash those. Like, I don't want to go out like that. I'd rather take my chances up here, trying to balance myself.
Hey, the only thing that's gonna save your ass though is if you have a sacred energy, and that's when I'm talking about in terms of energy. That is what they call the seal of the Most High. So you're gonna be having a protectorate force field around you. So it's many different ways to look at it, but you ain't got to build no bunker if you chosen. If you chosen, you know what I'm saying, these new energies that's coming in, they're gonna protect you. You know what I'm saying? So So only the people who's hiding out in them bunkers are the ones that was doing that dirty work, and they trying to hide out from shit.
Right.
Now I was about to tell them, like, for all the people that's watching, make sure y'all share this video because everything they telling y'all about the pyramids and the Ark of the Covenant is in your genetics. That's all they basically talking about. Because the human body is a metaphysical form of art. And everything that they basically do is an emulation of the true chosen people on the planet. So that's what I'm saying. They understand that our genetics is going to enhance over time. So share the video to people who understands this type of information. Please share it.
156 feet underground, a jaw-dropping revelation that's their boldest move yet to silence skeptics and prove their wild claims of a secret city beneath the Giza pyramids. So earlier this year, this team shocked the world by announcing they detected an underground city beneath the Khafre pyramid using synthetic aperture radar SAR technology, describing a vast network of tunnels, chambers, and possibly streets buried over 2,000 feet and dated to 38,000 years ago, a timeline that flips mainstream history on its head, as ancient civilizations with monuments and agriculture only go back 12,000 years, prompting the scientific community to raise eyebrows and question whether radar could accurately map such depths without physical proof. Now, doubling down, they focus on the tomb of Osiris, tied to the Egyptian god of the afterlife, where an image produced by SAR technology revealed the known levels descending 114 feet below the surface, along with a vertical shaft and 3 distinct steps, successfully mapping these pre-existing documented structures to showcase SAR's precision, while also detecting a previously unknown structure appearing to reach an empty chamber 656 feet below, complete with a sarcophagus surrounded by running water. Nicole Sassole, the project's spokesperson and a forensic expert with 25 years of experience, explained that this presents the tomographic analysis of the tomb of Osiris, an extensively documented structure, demonstrating how satellite radar tomography has successfully replicated its features, extending to a depth of approximately 656 feet. Noting that the images captured dark areas within the third level shaft, suggesting additional structures below, with a black area, possibly a small or actually large room, visible at an estimated 328 to 656 feet based on preliminary pixel calculations, a previously undocumented feature accurately replicated by SAR. Sassole called it a game changer, saying, quote, "Running water at that depth isn't just unusual, it suggests a civilization with advanced engineering we're only beginning to understand," end quote. As the team bases these claims on ancient Egyptian texts interpreted as historical records of a pre-existing civilization destroyed in a cataclysmic event, arguing this chamber connects to a secret city beneath Khafra, forming a vast subterranean complex across Giza. So imagine a sarcophagus, possibly holding a figure like the undiscovered Cleopatra, preserved where water still flows after millennia, seen as hard evidence to validate their claims of an ancient, sophisticated society lost to time. Time to get digging, because Italian researchers have just dropped a bombshell new detail that could blow the lid off history. A hidden chamber beneath the tomb of Osiris, loaded with a...
Succeeded in stealing the Ark of the Covenant from Solomon's temple. And he brought it back by another ruse. All of these stories are full of characteristically legendary tricks. But he put a replacement in Jerusalem and conveyed the actual Ark of the Covenant by air. It was taken through the air at great speed to Axum. And the fact is that it is absolutely fundamental part of Ethiopian Christianity today. They still believe that the Ark of the Covenant is in Axum, and Axum is there. You can go there. They have hotels. You can stay there. You can see the building where the Ark of the Covenant is supposed to be, but you can't see the Ark of the Covenant. They won't let you in. It's between an old and a new building of Mary of Zion. This seems to be on the site of the original cathedral at Axum, which is where the Ark of the Covenant is supposed to have gone at the beginning. At any rate, you have a curious phenomenon that the Ark of the Covenant is still, for the faithful, resident in, and the Ark of the Covenant, as I should say, these are the tablets of the law, written by God. And they are allegedly in Axum today.
The Ark of the Covenant, built by Moses to hold the stone tablets of the Ten Commandments at the command of God himself. In Jerusalem, it was the literal dwelling of the Most High, secreted in the darkness of the Holy of Holies for centuries. Then it disappeared. No one knows exactly where or when, but for more than 2,000 years, the whereabouts of the Ark have been shrouded in mystery, despite countless attempts to track it down. There are many theories as to the whereabouts of the holy relic. Some say it's buried under the Temple Mount. Others contend it was carried to Egypt before being lost to history. Wherever it may be, the lost Ark of the Covenant has become one of the most sought-after Christian relics in history. On a recent trip to Africa, I met up with explorer Bob Cornuke, founder of the Bible Archaeology Search and Exploration Institute. He's been investigating a little-known theory about the Ark for over 10 years and agreed to let me tag along on another fact-finding adventure. A former crime scene investigator in Los Angeles, Bob has made a name for himself by searching for biblical relics based on the same techniques he used in law enforcement, taking the Bible as a literal guide.
What? Setting people up and stealing their shit? Like,
he's traced the route of the Jewish exodus from Egypt, searched for Noah's Ark, and probed the mystery surrounding the true location of Mount Sinai. His ark theory goes like this. Just before the Babylonians invaded Jerusalem in 586 BC, Levitical priests moved the ark to Egypt to save it from being destroyed. After more than a century there, it was moved again all the way up the Nile River to Lake Tana in Ethiopia.
And this is where they say that they had the ark, and it rested right into where those trees are. We're going to go by it here right now, and as we go by with the boat, you're going to see where they actually say the ark sat in a tent, similar, very similar to the tabernacle in the wilderness.
The monks living on Tanakirkos Island haven't changed their worship or way of life for thousands of years. Even today, they dress in animal skins and live a primitive existence, farming the small island. They also spend more than 3 hours a day in prayer. The monks showed us relics that they say arrived with the ark.
So these implements were said to be brought with the ark.
Restricted area of the canyon, there are pyramids and caves adorned with hieroglyphics and Egyptian artifacts. This discovery, if true, is mind-blowing. What adds to the mystery is the claim that authorities have deliberately kept this knowledge hidden for almost a century. To maintain secrecy, the airspace over this specific area is even restricted. This secrecy surrounding the findings raises even more questions about what might truly lie within the depths of the Grand Canyon. Exploring the area around the pyramid and cave in the Grand Canyon is no easy task. While it's technically legal to visit, it poses significant risks due to its treacherous nature. Despite these obstacles, people continue to venture into this section of the canyon, driven by a desire to uncover its secrets. Unfortunately, over the years, many individuals have been arrested, and some have even lost their lives while attempting to reach these sacred sites. One particularly noteworthy discovery in the Grand Canyon is a cave known as Kincaid's Cave, named after the first explorer who ventured inside. G.E. Kincaid, a former Marine turned archaeologist, restricted area of the canyon.
Cities underneath the earth.
They said Atlantis was a myth, but what if its people never left and we've been walking above them all along? Dolores Cannon, renowned hypnotherapist and visionary, revealed a chilling possibility. The earth is hollow, and its secrets are extraordinary. She spoke of ancient cities hidden beneath our feet, thriving civilizations that escaped the chaos of the surface world. In her groundbreaking regressions, Cannon uncovered consistent stories of advanced beings, guardians of ancient wisdom, and a hidden world where the people of Atlantis still thrive silently, possibly watching us from below. Could the pyramids be gateways to this otherworldly realm? Could the lost city of Atlantis, long dismissed as legend, exist right beneath our feet?
It's not really hollow. There are cities underneath the earth, and they've been down there. The people went down there at the fall of Atlantis. There's a whole city. It's got a sun, it's got water, it's got lakes, it's got animals. It's beautiful, and they're more highly advanced than we are. But that is inside of the earth.
And they live thousands of years old, I understand.
Oh, it's been down there since Atlantis. The survivors of Atlantis, some of them went into the hollow earth. The entrances are found underneath the pyramids of the world. They had the entrances to the hollow earth, and the pyramids were built on top of the entrances. This means the one in Egypt, the one in South America, all of anywhere there's a pyramid, there will be an entrance going down into the hollow earth. There are cities.
I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, all right, watching those clips, why would one separate two groups of beings and know that they can help us with technologies as far as like medical and everything else like that, help us live longer, healthier lives like we're really supposed to, versus if they lived underneath the earth with better technology and they live to be thousands of years old, why wouldn't they assist us? Like, where did the cutoff happen? What happened? Did we beef with them? Is it us against us? Like, what is the story behind the unknown people that they've been alluding to in many different movies? They did it in Avatar. They've done it in Black Panther. It's always somebody underneath.
Right. You have two different tribes called the Nako and the Shiyuk tribe. When you study that mythology in the Nubian nation, it talks about how you have different factions of extraterrestrial and outer dimensional.
We're almost identical. 70 million.
My bad.
You know, in outer dimensional entities underneath, planet Earth. So the reason we don't get assistance from these intergalactic beings is because planet Earth is a school, so you got to go through a process of, ranking, meaning that, what I'm saying, you got to go through a process. It's a step to level up, what I'm saying? Because as far as like, planet Earth being in a three-dimensional state, if they gave us that type of technology right now, we would actually use it for destruction. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like the same concept if you give, unhealed so-called Black people reparations.
Mm-hmm.
What they're going to do with the money? The money, they're going to use it. They're going to destroy themselves with the money.
Right.
So like I said, it's one of the same thing. We won't get access to that because the frequencies of three-dimensional Earth is captivated by the illusion of choice.
So what happened to us though? Like why did we get separated?
Because you got two different energies. You got the seeds of Enki and the seeds of Enlil. The seeds of Enlil is basically God of the Bible. God of the Bible is actually Yahweh. Yahweh is Yaldabaoth. Yaldabaoth is Kronos, and Kronos is actually the devil that is associated with planet Saturn. So when you study the Gnostic text, it talks about how the demiurge is a prison planet, right? And what makes it a prison planet, when you go to Genesis in the Bible, chapter 1, verse 5, it talks about how God created the firmament. That's when Satan separated the intergalactic waters from the third dimension. So that was the spiritual cutoff. So now we're in the quarantine zone in the prison planet. So you don't get access outside the firmament, and you don't get access to Hollow Earth until you complete the school of the prison planet in the demiurge. But it's only going to be a chosen few who understands that mythology to where they're going to get access to those gateways. Because when you look at the diametrical difference between Enki and Enlil, you break down the etymology of the word Enki, it means Lord of Earth. So even though Enlil is running the simulation, that doesn't negate the fact that the seeds of Enki...
I don't know why I keep doing that. My bad.
No, you good. It doesn't negate the fact that the seeds of Enki will have birthright back to the planet, to where we get access to the portals, where we get access to the pyramids, to where we get access to the Ark of the Covenant. The Ark of the Covenant has never been lost. It's always been found, and it's connected to your neurological faculties. The Ark of the Covenant is the sephnoid bone, which is basically the holy seat for the pineal gland, right? That's why the Pope, he unlocked the keys of papacy, the cosmic keys of the silver key and the golden key, because when he unlocked that key, that was basically the embodiment of resurrection, because there was an encryption over the pineal gland. When you study the holonomic brain theory, it tells you that your brain is tether connected to the simulation. So just like you have a firmament over the planet, you have a firmament over the brain. So this is why you hear the phrase, "Oh, he can't think outside the box," because your brain is literally inside the box, because we live in a pixelated simulation, literally. So that's what connects the gematria body and the brain for reincarnation purposes. So that's why, so that's what, what's going on basically.
Okay. Yeah. I hope that answered the questions, because, I like to ask these questions in a way where, the typical person, no matter where they came into the video, they can understand like where we're at and what we're talking about and how to think about it in different ways so it can make sense to them.
Right.
So yeah, I like that.
Little man getting all this edification, getting all this knowledge.
Right, he's sleeping on it.
That's what's up.
Mars went through a huge catastrophe 69 million years ago, and even went through another war 1 million years ago. The ruins on Mars and all that, some of them are 65, 70, 80, 100 million years old. The face and all that is at least 1 million years old. Now, according to the Andromedans, the face belongs to a group of Orions. That complex was built by Orions. The pyramids were built by Orions. Now, I understand that there's all kinds of coding and geometrics that go with the pyramids, but according to the Andromedans, and this is something they've done in the past, and many other races do, when they find a planet that they want to inhabit or colonize, And its wobble is so irregular that they can't build anything on it because they don't know 1,000 years to the next whether or not it's going to be destroyed. What they will do to balance the rotation, the orbit of the planet, is put weights on it, like we do with our car tire. These weights are the pyramids. They put them at strategic locations to balance the rotation. This is why the Great Pyramid of Giza is located exactly dead center of all the mass, Earth mass on the planet. It's a weight. That's what it was originally designed to be, was a weight to balance our rotation. So they would have some semblance of order here, that they wouldn't have to worry about it flipping around and orbiting and pole shifting whenever it wanted to, or wobbling so much like this, you know, that the oceans would just change.
Boy, hey, look, I ain't gonna lie to you. If it's that, they better leave that shit. What?
Hey, speaking of him, you know his hand guy, you know,
yeah,
so he's on the live, bro, and because he was putting out way too much information, so he's saying that, hey, I need to stay away from his videos because you know what I'm saying, we try to live a long time over here, you know.
But you know, look, man, look, I ain't trying to deal with no 1,000-foot wave. We ain't nothing, boy. Like, don't run. It's over with. I don't like the way that one is sounding to me, but we gonna keep going with this jump. I don't like that though. That's crazy.
Yes, sir.
Pyramids on Earth are located in the same part of the hemisphere as the pyramids on Mars.
Yes. Yes, it is. But there are more pyramids on the Earth than there are on Mars. There are a lot in the ocean. You know, Central America.
Right.
We have a lot. Of course, it's, you know, almost 1.5 times the landmass as well. Plus, we have water, which in itself is an incredible amount of weight. I think we have 1.2 trillion square miles of water on the planet, which is phenomenal. You know, absolutely phenomenal. It's 2/3 of the Earth, and less than 1% is drinkable. Another question. Somebody asked. Yes, sir.
Can you give us some of your background and how you came into all this information, et cetera, et cetera?
Yes. I guess it's time for that. My contact started when I was 8 years old. I was on a family picnic in Woodstock, Michigan, which is in the upper northern peninsula. I did not remember the contact until I was at the age of 14. I knew, and my parents knew, that something had happened in the other folks. We went out to play hide and go seek, and the grass was very tall. It was in August. It was like the second or third week of August, just before we all went back to school. And I went to lay down in the tall grass and just to hide, okay? Because we have one of our little cousins. She was a female. You know, we made her red, so she had to go around and find us. And I remember picking up the chestnuts and throwing them because they were chestnuts. And I made a place for me to lay down. Well, I fell asleep. When I woke up, it was night. It was close to 9 o'clock. Now in August, you know, the sun sets late. So I got up and I walked back. I'm approximately 250, maybe 300 yards from the picnic area. There was a police car there, there was a dog in the back, or state police, I think it was, from the picnic area. There was a police car there, there was a dog in the back, or state police, I think it was, state trooper, because the guy had a big round hat with the funny thing on the top. When I got back...
What you talking about, big round hat with a funny thing on top with his head open up like that? That's crazy. That's diabolical. No, he not. We're going to keep going. I'm sorry. I couldn't spare him. I couldn't spare him, bro.
Back, at first they were all glad to see me, and then my mother walloped me. She gave me a spanking. Where have you been? I said, well, I was over there. No, you weren't. We were all looking for you. So I took them back with flashlights to where I was. And
but that's why I believe them though too, because like when niggas got their head open up like that, they don't give a damn about nothing no more.
Right.
It's about the information. He not lying, y'all. He not lying.
Sure enough, there was my imprint on the grass, and they swore up and down that they had been all through there, and I wasn't there.
He fucked around and said, "You know what? I'm gonna walk out the house like this today."
Right. Hey, and then hey, even when you look at it from a scientific standpoint, his head is opened up enough to get that transmission, get them downloads. So his head ain't today, so he get that download, bro. Hey,
right.
So you see why, hey, that's fact. There's always an esoteric connection to everything.
Right.
Always.
It's obvious at this point. It's about the information, clearly, because he don't give a damn about nothing else about the information. Like he ain't say fuck it, I'm gonna put a hat on today. No,
Hey,
I'm gonna give him the information.
He just said, "I'm coming out with the rooftop."
Yeah, AKA the moral of the story: have an open mind when you listen to this.
It wasn't until age 14 that I realized what had happened. And I was asleep. We were living in Elk Grove Village, Illinois. And I was asleep, and I woke up, and I'm lying on a table, flat on my back, and I'm looking up at this light. And there's a very tall, big guy standing next to me, and a short, tiny one. The tiny one had white skin, bald head, looked sort of oriental, but he wasn't, just very old. And the other guy, the big tall one, was light blue skinned, no hair, but built like a Greek god, like this. I had instantaneous recognition of those two guys, two men. The tall one is Morine. He's 2,300 years old in our time. He's from Andromeda. The short one was Osiris. Now they don't use names like we use names, but those are names that they gave me so that I could call them to accommodate me. That's how I relate to them. They use symbols. Osiris is 4,300 years old. Actually, he's older, but that's his approximate age. They're incredible. They're absolutely incredible. They're human beings just like us. They evolved, they were part of the Lyran lineage of the human race. And Lyra itself was destroyed in a war. And everybody just scattered and migrated out to survive. And according to them, and this is probably a good time I want to add this before I forget.
People don't know that's where the Thundercats came from.
Yep.
They say the Andromedans, based on stories that the ancient Draconians have recorded, that the human race was created by another race called the Batal. Mars and Earth were all.
Let me give you the update from the press release so you guys can get an understanding of why this discovery is so amazing. A research team comprising Corrado Malanga, Armando May, and Filippo Biondi, and Nicole Ciccolo has unveiled new findings from a synthetic aperture radar scan of the Giza Plateau, focusing on the underground structures beneath the Khafre Pyramid. This initiative is part of an ongoing Khafre research project, which utilizes advanced satellite technology to explore the site's concealed architecture. Key discoveries in this: subsurface structures, that means beneath the pyramid, beneath the actual bedrock. The SAR scan revealed 5 small room-like structures within the Khafre Pyramid, centrally located above the chamber known as the Bolonzi Chamber, which contains a sarcophagus previously misidentified as the pharaoh's tomb. In other words, it's not a tomb for a pharaoh. It's a structure that looks like a sarcophagus, but isn't a sarcophagus. It's something else. And I'm going to tell you what it is tonight. The Great Pyramid itself at Giza, in my opinion, is a multifunctional stone computer and a power generator. The way it's set up and laid out, if you look at the structure from beneath, and I've gone down the subterranean shaft, which goes down about 65 meters in one angle, another 30 meters straight down in another angle, it's beneath the bedrock. Now, even beneath that, you see these giant tubes that are dried out. They're aquifer tubes where the channel was there for the water to run from the Nile. When you take moving water under magnetized crystal granite, you create something called physiostatic electricity. Christopher Dunn, who is an engineer, he wrote several books about the Giza power plant. So now those ions flow up into the Grand Gallery. I believe there used to be resonating rods going up the Grand Gallery. The slots are there, but the rods are missing now. And that probably would step up the power until it gets into the King's Chamber. And then from there, some type of fusion, I believe, would happen. Now, why do I say fusion? Well, there's a box inside the King's Chamber that's a rose granite box, and you can can tell it was added at a later date. Now, this rose granite box, a huge chunk of the corner is missing. So to me, something was energetic within that box, and so I started thinking about it. So I took precise measurements of the box. I checked out measurements that were online and available to me, and it's the same exact dimensions of the Ark of the Covenant.
Yeah, the Ark. Shout out to Billy Carson. I'm gonna be doing something with him, and then me and Dreogreacts, we eventually gonna be doing something with Billy. You know, over the course of time. Like I said, we're gonna be boots on the ground. Like you know, my brother said, it's time that we start, you know, moving around. It's time to start moving around and start doing like real intrinsic, deep research in archaeology and stuff like that. But we're gonna add some sauce to it. It ain't gonna be corny.
Oh man, they don't even know what type of sauce we're gonna. I don't think they're gonna be expecting it, man. We're gonna take this to a whole another level. It's taking a little bit of time behind the scenes because you can't. We're not going for perfection, but this is gonna be a breath of fresh air when y'all get to see it and see how deep it's gonna go. Because I think it's gonna have a buzz to it, like back in the day when we used to watch Tigger in the Basement on BET. It's gonna be that authentic vibe, hits from the streets. When he used to do street interviews, he was the first person doing street interviews. He was hilarious. It's going to feel like you belong there. You're gonna get that euphoric feeling of like, damn, I'm getting information, but also they're making this shit cool because we are the cool kids. Don't get it messed up.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like we're a little bit different. Well, a lot different over here. We're building on something completely different. We're building the infrastructure for everybody to find their place, to feel like you belong here, get this information and evolve and change with us. Together, we can reach that Christ consciousness. And then to wrap this thing fully into full circle, see, people were saying that Billy Carson was out of his mind and he's this person, he took this person's identity. But if you think about it, look, he's been telling the truth the whole time. Now, all of a sudden, these other scientists say that, oh, we scanned the ground and these things are really under there. Billy Carson's been saying this shit.
Facts. And even Dr. Malachi Z. York been saying
yes. They all been saying it, but they crazy though,
right?
Because it goes against what you were programmed to think.
That's a fact, bro.
That's how I like to, you know what I'm saying, speak about this. I put that in there for a reason because people was being so disrespectful. Anybody can look somebody up and try to make them intentionally look bad.
Fact.
That's why I'm not one of those people. I have somebody do that to me within the court system. Nothing but false documents, false statements. If you was to be somebody from the outside looking in and reading that, you would think that I am a monster.
Right.
But these people have zero proof. But I have all the proof on my side and I'm presenting accurate documents and we're stepping. It's a difference, y'all. So you can't just listen to everything that you hear. You got to take the time, step back and look at the bigger picture. Now, all of a sudden, these people say this stuff is real. Now, okay.
It's been real. It's been real the whole time. But
yeah, we talked about these going out the sky. Guess what? they doing this out the sky a lot.
Right. And then on top of that, like I said, we in the age of Aquarius, so that's the age of truth. So, you know, by way of universal law, they got to give us the truth. It's called the threefold law. They got to give us the truth, whether it's in the form of entertainment, in a movie or a cartoon. They still got to give you the truth because, you know, that's how they balance out their karma, basically. So it's up to us to have that mental and spiritual discernment to be like, hey, this is real, or is this fake or not, you know?
Right.
Thanks.
I hit on the comparisons to the Schumann resonance. Right. And if you look at the graph that they scan the ground with, it's the same exact thing. Minus, you know, some of the hours that they're blocking out some of the spikes. All of a sudden they're not recording the energies that's coming into the planet. All right, my question is this energy, we have a firmament. Is this energy on the outside of the firmament getting in and coming from the inside of the planet at the same time at this point? Because that's kind of what I'm thinking. Because we see it from the ground, right? We see the colors. We see the different energies that's coming in. I ain't gonna say radiation, I'm just gonna say energies. But then at the top, it's the same thing. Are we getting a dose from the top and bottom? And is that? And then my next question is that helping speed up the process in which we're changing?
Yes. See, the star Polaris is basically the embodiment of the power supply that gives energy to the sun and the moon. And the sun and the moon operates on fractions of light and it sends a cymatic frequency to the etheric network, which is the black sun inside the planet. So that creates the sigil system of the Freemasonic symbol. So this is why they put the G inside the geometrical symbol of Freemasonry, because the word geometry, when you look at the word geo, it translates to Chi, which is Chi, which is planet Earth. So it's the sacred geometry of planet Earth to where it's able to stream intelligence down from the magnetosphere, which is the ethers. So those ethers is what's spiking up the Schumann resonance. So like I said, that's the God frequency. Hulk is what? The color green. He activated his power by way of gamma radiation. Gamma radiation is the God frequency because it contains quarks and leptons. Quarks and leptons is the Higgs boson particle, which is the God particle, and the God particle manipulates the space-time continuum to where you have time dilation. So that's why it seems like that time is actually speeding up. So when you have these coronal mass ejections hitting the planet, it basically works in tandem with the frequencies of the black sun and the star Polaris at the same time. But the energy was subjugated at one point in time because the Alpha Draconis star system was being facilitated by the moon. So now we're in the age of Aquarius. Now we're in the sun cycle aligned with the star Polaris. When the age of Aries, Pisces, and Taurus, that was connected to under a lunar doctrine. So now we're not in a lunar cycle right now. That's why you've seen the fall of religion. You've seen the fall of all these things that's connected to the three-dimensional world. That's because these new energies is coming in because we're in the age of Aquarius. This is the Great Awakening period.
Yeah, now you see pastors locking people in the churches and asking for $40,000 until they leave. That's crazy. I ain't gonna lie.
That should have been people's. That should have been people's time to be like, hey, I need to step away from the church.
Right, and I'm not, and I'm not one of those people. I don't want to tell people what to do, but stepping away from the church is not stepping away from God or nothing like that. You can pray whatever you want to do behind closed doors, but give these people your energy and your money, your currency. It's crazy. It's crazy. They locking people in churches, and bruh, y'all got pastors that's walking, bruh. They getting slapped by pimps because they spending the church's money on street booty. It's crazy. It's diabolical. Like you're spending the church's money on street booty. Is crazy. Like I don't
at least get one of them holy ones in the congregation. You know what I'm saying? So this is why I say, man, you find God when you lose your religion. You find God when you lose your religion because it's in you. Psalms 82 verse 6. You are gods. You become a god when you detach from the religion. That's a fact.
You want the microphone, man? You want speaking to the microphone? Yeah, he be trying to talk too.
That's what's up.
I think he gonna rap or something. I don't know. What's up? You got some bars for us? Yeah. I just want to come up with this agreement ahead of time though, for real, so we can make this public, you know what I'm saying? So we do go into like explorations and stuff like that. You is gonna touch the shit first, right?
I'm touching it. I'm gonna crash out for the simulation. Like if y'all want me to George Bush the button, I'll do it. Boom.
Yeah. See, that's crazy. See, look, now, see, I be talking that shit, but at the same time, if you was gonna do it, I do it too. I ain't gonna let you go by yourself. Like it is.
Hey, they say that when you go to Mammoth Cave, Kentucky, there's parts in where some of the stuff that's not, even though they got the great majority of, the stuff that's blocked off with fake rocks and stuff, the cave systems. They said if you travel inside, Mammoth Cave, Kentucky for about 60 days, you can get to Hollow Earth.
60 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good. I ain't never gonna make it to Hollow Earth, bro. I ain't.
Hey, but you. Hey, I'm with the smoke. I'm with it.
Oh, so.
I do it. I'll take an excavation like that because I'm one of those people, man. I want to go on an adventure. I grew up watching the movie Goonies, so
for sure.
Hey,
for sure.
Hey, I got get my bag, my canteen and all that, my camping equipment. I'm all in. Hey, we in that time. We got to take excavations, bro. Like you never know. Like how you not know we might not get to the what's that movie? The Center of the Earth.
I don't know. It sounds like we might have our own movie, nigga. A documentary, nigga. Like they never came back.
Hey, but I think we'd be protected by that shit. We ain't gonna go too far, too deep, you know what I'm saying, to where it's gonna put our lives in jeopardy, but we're gonna make it make sense to people to where we're able to galvanize the information from whatever geographical location that we're gonna be doing some studying on, and we're gonna bring it back to the people to, you know, for them to get clarity. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna hit, you know, all the esoteric knowledge and the hidden information that's, you know, that basically is associated with a certain demographic of people according to that landmass or that monolithic structure or whatever. So that's what that's going to be about, you know.
I got a question.
Yeah.
All right, so you know how they don't want us to access like stargates and go down there to the, you know, the Grand Canyon and explore, right? Because when have they ever cared about people climbing Mount Everest and like freezing to death and dying? They don't stop doing that, right? I think that would be more dangerous than going to the Grand Canyon. But all right, going into the Grand Canyon, they do have security there, so they're obviously not caring too much about somebody's safety if you already have security in those places where you can't go, right? So is there a way, do you think, that with our genetics we can walk through a stargate into a different reality? Is it home? Is it quote unquote heaven? Is it hell? Is it whatever we want it to be, activated by our genetics?
Yep, because the sigil of Moloch is the sigil of Baal, and the sigil of Baal is actually the sigil of Lucifer. It's also associated with the Khazarian Tamga. So when you look at the no-fly zone in Antarctica, and you look at the no-fly zone in the Grand Canyon, it creates the sigil of Lucifer. So that means that there's an encryption over that geographical area to where you're not able to take up on those energies. Now, remember, the Pope, he unlocked those keys of papacy on New Year's Eve. So inside where the encryption was, you got the Hat of Dagon. The Hat of Dagon is actually Moloch, Enlil, Yaldabaoth, Satan, Lucifer, whatever you call it. It's the same entity. So when he unlocked those keys, it unlocked those encryptions that was in certain geographical areas on the planet. So now, if we go to these sacred areas, we might get a different energy there. You see what I'm saying? So, because like I said, the Pope is the viscer of all religions. He controls all monotheistic religion. Religion is a part of the spiritual cutoff.
Why was he so terrified when he was opening up those different doors? Was it
because it's one of those things where they can't break universal law. They got to give the keys back to the owners of the planet. And
so that's what he was doing when he did that?
Yeah, he's unlocking the keys. He's unlocking the Christ consciousness. When you go back to the galactic center is the Milky Way star constellation. And the Milky Way star constellation was basically the home of the black sun when you had the mothership projected a sun inside the planet where the Grand Canyon is at. So that happened by way of the extraction of plutonium bombs in the inception of time. So now
pretty much they just opened up a portal of energy that's going to that speed. See, that's why once again, let's wrap that back up. That's why we're seeing those different energies come into the planet. And that is the per se Christ consciousness, because I don't know if people out here in the world can feel it. Are you working through, like when they talk about your shadow work, are you working on the things that really, really bother you, that get to you? Are you sorting through those issues? Are you trying to make that conscious effort to solve those different problems within you? And I think we all, like we've been speaking through so many years, that we have traits that came from our ancestors. It's all in the blood, our karma, and we're here to work on these things. So my question to the people that's watching this video is, are you working on your karma? Do you feel the difference between how you can speak and articulate? Like right now, I don't have to stutter. Through the history of me speaking, people have heard me stutter, stumble through words, but I'm finding more peace within myself that helps me speak a lot clearer if I want to. you know. So that's just my question to the people. Do you feel the energy? It's not all about, oh, me having special abilities. No, it's about, we have to fix us first before we get anything good. Like a child that's getting a present, you have to be on good behavior first before you can get this video game back. You have to get A's and B's before you can start playing a video game and get access to this online system that you like so much. So that's just how I take it, that we're tapping back in. We have to sort through our issues and grow up first.
And you only can activate it by self-realization, because self-realization is the interstellar vortex portal to your level up, which is your authenticity. So when you tap into the apex of your authenticity, in order to do that, you got to have 3 different wins every day. You got to have a spiritual win, a mental win, and a physical win. Meditation, working out, reading books. So all these things, that's going to put you in a state of evolution to where you unlock certain codons within your physiology. And when you unlock those codons, that's when you unlock that epigenetic, and that's when you start to pull out, you know, things that were subjugating your bloodline by way of the subconscious mind. So then that's when you reverse the polarity of the dark psychology that happened by way of indoctrination. So my brother Dreogreacts is right. You know what I'm saying? You got to do the inner work, bro. You got to do the inner work.